You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion, delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. A very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest and repeat offender on Ron Siegel Radio. Mary Gaston is with us, Realty Pro 100. Welcome.
Good morning.
Glad to have you with us. Let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating. No, we're not celebrating that O.J. Simpson is gone. That's not what we're going to celebrate today. I would never say something like that. That would be insensitive. Today is National Pet Day. Yes, I did share some pictures of my pooch. She and I go walking. The only one in the world that will actually go walking with me on a regular basis. I don't, and looks forward to it. You know, the bride, she won't go. It's too early. But dog doesn't care. Morning, noon, or night does not matter. She's always ready. National Cheese Fondue Day. Do you like cheese fondue?
I don't think I've ever had cheese fondue.
Okay, I would much rather just dip a. What is it? That looks like a strawberry dipped in cheese fondue. Maybe it's a biscuit or something.
Why would you dip strawberries in cheese?
I can't. That's what it looks like, though.
Horrible.
Now, I do like chocolate fondue. I'll go to that route. You dip almost anything in chocolate and it's good. I'm just going to say that right out there. So that's a good 8-track day. Now that's perfect for a day like today. We know we've got the Millennial and the Old Man.
I don't know.
So,
I think it's time to retire that day.
The what, 8-track day?
Yeah.
It just reminds us of old people.
I guess.
Okay. National Alcohol Screening Day.
We can retire that one too.
We can retire that one for sure as well. That one's no good.
We don't need that one.
We don't need that one. Okay, so I guess no more celebrating for today. That's enough celebrations of the day. Let's take a look at that. I guess this one didn't update again on me today. So we're watching what's going on in the markets, and I hope that this is it was a bad number. Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 105 points. The S&P 500 is up. It says 8.36. NASDAQ up 114 points. Oil, 85.39 a barrel. The economy is not looking good. No matter what the president says, the economy is not looking good. When you see the 10-year Treasury right now, 4.573. That is painful. And that's going to cause a lot of challenges throughout the market. And it's ironic enough, it's all started with the CPI report that came out just a small fraction off. But when it hit the wires, they do all the rounding. So when something's off by 4 tenths, it goes down, obviously. Those of you that are in math class, you'll remember this. You round down. If it's 6 tenths, it goes up. So you get some of these numbers that went up by 6 tenths, rounds up, and the market just took off on a downward spiral yesterday. And it's continuing today. Now, one of the things that we're going to talk about in the Mortgage Minute, and I'll get into just a little bit of it right here, is what do people think? What do the investors think about what's going on right now? Well, I can tell you not because of my opinion. I can tell you based on what the facts are showing. Yesterday, we get this bad report on the CPI saying that inflation is hotter than normal or expected or growing up. Did we really need that report to tell us that things are more expensive than they've been? I don't think so. Did you fill up your car lately? Did you go and buy? I was at Costco yesterday. I couldn't believe this. I used to pick up that package of butter. You know, it's a big thing of butter. I like butter, obviously. I'm in perfect shape. Round is a shape, but I like butter. $14 for butter. It used to be like $10 for that same block. I digress. But here's how I know that the markets are thinking that interest rates are going to continue to go up. Yesterday, we have a bond auction, which is not abnormal. But the bond auction came out after the CPI numbers. Now, we saw that the yield on the 10-year Treasury skyrocketed. It was up a lot yesterday. Okay, and that's not a big deal again. But whenever the yield goes up, that means the price of the bond goes down. What do you think happens? What do you think is going on when you go to this auction and the price is lower than where it's been in a long time? Wouldn't you expect, if people think that that price is going to rebound and go back up, which means yields go down, don't you think that the bond traders would have been buying those things like crazy? Because they can make money two ways in bonds. You can either make money by holding them long-term and getting that 4.57% yield on there, or you can make money on the price of the bond. So if you buy the bond, I'm just going to throw a number out there. Say you buy the bond for $1 and it goes to $2, you make good money. Well, if the bond that goes up, that means the yield, the interest rate would come down. Bond traders did not want to buy the bonds yesterday, no matter how cheap they were. Tells me that the bond traders, which are generally the more sophisticated of traders, they're saying the bond is going to continue to drop and the interest rates are going to continue to rise. Not good news, but that's what the market's telling us. I'm not telling you my opinion again. And we're going to talk about that because it comes out in the market report that we're going to chat about with Mary in just a few minutes, is that you can have an opinion. You know, and I can have my opinion, you can have your opinion, but how do you fight either one of our opinions with facts? And the fact is the bond traders did not buy yesterday. Just going to throw that out there for you and see. Get your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Put it in the chat. You can tell us where you're watching from as well. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, we're going to chat about the market report. What's it look like right now? There's a lot of news in real estate. Some news, good news, some news, bad news, but news nonetheless. Builders are building smaller homes. That was interesting in light of another article, and I'll tell you about that. How about a home the size, I don't know if you saw this one, Mary, a home the size of a hotel room in Silicon Valley sold for $1.7 million.
Stop it.
$1.7 million. We'll talk about all that and more. You can reach me anytime. Off air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Homeowners over the age of 62 are taking back financial control after retirement with reverse mortgages, and the Siegel Lending Team is here to help you use it to your advantage. Call Ron Siegel with Geneva Financial to receive your free information booklet with no obligation. The booklet answers all your questions, and the best part is, you still own your home. Call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990 or visit ronsiegelradio.com.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
Hey there, friends. Wondering if now is the right time to buy a home? Or are you waiting for a bunch of foreclosures? The facts speak loud and clear. Defaults and foreclosures are down. Sure, we might be headed towards a recession. But did you know interest rates typically drop and real estate values often go up during a recession? So what are you waiting for? Higher prices or higher payments? Don't navigate these waters alone. Connect with RonSiegelRadio.com today. That's RonSiegelRadio.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And every day at this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They don't tell us points paid, points received, or APR. They tell us the number that you put in a mortgage calculator. And if you don't have one, ronismylender.com, you can go there and get it for free. They put the number that you put in the mortgage calculator to identify what your mortgage rate is going to be. So what did they look like yesterday? It was ugly. 30-year conforming was up 7.009%. 30-year jumbo up 7.24, 30-year FHA up 6.823. The only one that was down, rural areas. That was the USDA loan, 6.636. Generally no down payment in those rural areas also. Best loan on the market, that's the VA loan. That was up 6.646. That was up a bit as well. If you want our market commentary, our thoughts on the market, every morning as early as the data allows, rsrmarketminute.com. rsrmarketminute.com. Let's take a look and see what's happened now through the start of today. And as I shared with you earlier, the S&P 500, if I can find it on my screen again, which is not cooperating with me, but we'll look at, I'll find that for you. Of course, we've got it. The S&P 500 is now up 7.77. If it wasn't for the way the market's been looking, I'd say that's a jackpot, but I don't think it is. 10-year treasuries up 3 basis points, 4.57. We need to make sure it stays below 4.62 for technical reasons. Mortgage-backed securities down 9 basis points. Means interest rates are up a little bit more again today. 9 basis points isn't a lot of movement on there. But what's driving all these things? Well, yesterday we got the Fed minutes from their last meeting, and that helped a little bit because the Federal Reserve said they're not going to be letting their balance sheet run off as much. Remember, they put trillions and trillions of dollars on the balance sheet during COVID and trying to finance all the crap that the government spends money on that we don't need? Well, they're letting some of that money run off of the balance sheet. So now they're cutting the amount they're letting run off. So that means they're going to be out there buying some more mortgage bonds. Even they didn't want to buy them yesterday. So that was an interesting thing. We did get the producer price index this morning, measures wholesale or producer inflation, rose 0.2% in March, which was 1/10 lower than estimates year over year. Producer price increases rose from 1.6 to 2.1. That'll have an effect on the PCE, the personal consumption expenditure, which is the Federal Reserve's favorite measure of inflation. That's the one they like the most. Part of the reason that they like that one more than the CPI is it has a different weighting, a smaller weighting on shelter costs, the cost of your home or rent. The CPI has about a 45% weighting on shelter. And, there's more to life than just the house. Not a lot, but there's more to life than just the house. So that is a big issue right there because you got to still eat. And do I do that on a regular basis? Of course. That is we got initial jobless claims, another one of those numbers that's very misleading. So we saw that the initial jobless claims fell 11,000 to 211,000. But the continuing claims, those people that can't find work, continues to go up. That's the people that are on long-term unemployment. Again, every measure that we see, the industry, business, is telling us that the economy is not doing well, except when we look at the numbers that come out from the Bureau of Labor Statistics in what I refer to as their BS reports. That is the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. So every month we're fortunate enough to have Mary Gaston come in with us and chat about what she sees. She looks at the reports, the same report. It's amazing how you can look at the exact same reports, and from your perspective and life experience, you can see different things. And that's why I love having Mary come in. I learn a lot. One of the guests that I have come on that I learn the most from is Mary, just because she's coming in and sharing. I'm the old guy. I've got all these different preconceived notions. And then Mary comes in and says, well, this is what millennials are thinking. The millennials are buying about 43% of new houses.
Is that it? I thought it was 45. I thought it was a little bit higher.
Okay, it might be 45.
I thought that's what I saw yesterday.
So you probably have better data than me too. I'm not even on that one. So welcome.
Hi.
So, the first thing that comes up, and it's the biggest news in all of real estate, the National Association of Realtors settlement.
Yep.
And is it really a settlement when the DOJ now says they're going to reopen the case? Weren't they part? You'd think they were part of the settlement.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to matter?
Not really. I mean, I feel like NAR is already acting like it's a done deal, and they're starting to make the changes already.
So the question I have, and this is what I pose all the time, and I don't know whether millennials see it this way, is when you go to a doctor, you spend maybe 5 minutes with the doctor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he charges, $150 for an office visit.
Mm-hmm.
Are you really paying for the office visit? Or are you paying for everything that got up from the time that he started his education or she started the education all the way until that minute?
Yeah, you're paying for everything.
Right?
There's a lot of expenses that goes into, it's not just his hourly time.
Right. And I don't understand why they don't see the same thing with a real estate professional.
Mm-hmm.
You and I could both go and start writing a contract at the exact same time.
Yeah, it makes me laugh when people say, well, we don't need agents. Agents are, going to be phased out and all this stuff, especially in a state like California. Like, we are so litigious here.
Right. You
need someone who can walk you through the paperwork. You want someone who's going to take on that liability, because if anything goes wrong, we're the first ones that get sued.
Sure. and but more than that, and I agree 100%, but I've had my real estate license, I think, for 9 or 10 years, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not qualified to go out, and I couldn't. If you asked me to fill out a contract for real estate, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I'd have no clue.
Yeah, you need a good agent who knows how to fill out the contracts, who knows what paperwork is needed, because even the paperwork that's needed to complete a file changes. It changes when new laws come out and such. So we're always updating what's needed for our files in-house and what our agents need to complete. So you need someone who knows what you need to, cross the T's, dot the I's, and negotiate on your behalf.
Do you think that if I were to go out and go over to, I think there's probably some sort of a form at Staples that could, I could buy a house with.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
If I do that as a seller on my own, is that going to protect me from all of it?
Sued.
You're going to get sued.
I would maybe do it as a buyer, but as a seller, you're going to get sued.
Okay, and because you just don't know.
Yeah, and if you don't disclose, that's the biggest thing is disclose. And if the seller doesn't disclose, you don't do one thing, you're going to get sued over it.
Yeah, you miss this. And I think we're finding out right now, just through this NAR settlement or supposed settlement, is now that they've settled. I wonder, maybe you know this. I don't, but I know it's a big number. How many lawsuits have come about after the settlement?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you and I have both heard of several people who got letters from attorneys after the settlement saying, you may be able to sue now.
Yeah. See, what's crazy to me is I almost see this as a step back in the industry, because what was it, a year or so ago, people were advocating that the buyers need to know how much their agents are getting paid. So Zillow and other places, they started putting in this is what's being offered out to the agent.
Sure.
And now that's going away. You're not even going to be able to put that information to the MLS.
So
it's not saying the sellers can't offer to pay for your agent.
Right.
But now
just can't tell you.
You're taking away that transparency completely.
That's
it's almost like we're taking a step backwards.
Isn't that amazing? And I've said that many times, and I agree with you wholeheartedly that, especially in the state of California, everything we talk about, and the state's all geared for buyers. It's never geared for somebody selling something. That transparency, I thought, was huge.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm a big proponent of, pay the agent more if you understand marketing and if you understand human nature. Agents are still humans.
Yes.
And they want to feed their family. They want to pay their bills. They want to get ahead, just like everybody else. So if there's more being paid and it's disclosed and it brings more buyers, doesn't that help the seller in the long run?
You would think, yeah.
Right. So it just drives me nuts when you hear these things. And I love one of the things in the report that we have that just came out: confusion leads to fear, fear leads to panic, panic leads to paralysis. And again, if you have a great real estate agent, I'm going to suggest you're going to get past the fear, because you're not going to be confused. You're not going to have to panic. And, you're going to feel more comfortable because the agents can explain these things. Only if you've got an experienced agent, though.
Yes.
Right? I mean, the person like me, well, I shouldn't say that, because I do follow it, and I could probably explain these things more than 90% of the people. But when it gets to contracts and stuff like that, I've got to go to a professional.
Yeah. Well, what's crazy is we actually had an agent in here yesterday who's very experienced, and she said, well, I heard from someone that in the settlement, a buyer's agent can't be paid more than 2%. And we looked and said, who's telling you that? She goes, it was an NAR representative. I said, that's not true.
Wow. That's not even anywhere close to anything.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know where you're getting that, why they're spreading that information, but that's not true. So even some of the experienced agents, they haven't read through the settlement themselves. There's so much going on out there that people are just, throwing things to the wall in.
And that's the biggest problem, is so many people don't read the settlements. They don't, we've put out the whole 108 page to every agent that we know. We've sent out the 108-page settlement and a 3-page summary. And I can look at some of the analytics of what we send out, and it's the percentage of people that have even the 3-page summary. They're not going to look at a 3-page summary. Just amazes me. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, builders are building smaller homes. We'll talk about that, and we're going to get into the rest of the market report. You can reach me anytime off air, number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Ron Siegel Radio, or Ron at Ron Siegel Radio, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel. All the places. You know where to find us. I'll be back.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Hey there, friends. Wondering if now is the right time to buy a home? Or are you waiting for a bunch of foreclosures? The facts speak loud and clear. Defaults and foreclosures are down. Sure, we might be headed towards a recession. But did you know interest rates typically drop and real estate values often go up during a recession? So what are you waiting for? Higher prices or higher payments? Don't navigate these waters alone. Connect with RonSiegelRadio.com today. That's RonSiegelRadio.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Their real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Builders are building smaller homes. No arguing it. Affordability is still tight. And if you're trying to buy a home, that may mean you need to look at smaller houses to find one that's still in your budget. But there's a silver lining. Builders are focused on building these smaller homes right now, and they're offering incentives, and that can help give you more options that fit the bill. Newly built homes are trending smaller during the pandemic. Home buyers wanted and could afford larger homes, and builders delivered. They focused on homes that were bigger, so people had more space for things like working from home, having a home gym, bonus rooms, virtual school, and more. But with the affordability challenges buyers are facing today, builders are increasingly shifting their attention to bringing smaller single-family homes to the market. If you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490, FM 98.1 video feed, you're seeing a chart. New single-family homes getting smaller, going from 2022 all the way to the end of 2023. They keep on shrinking. And I'm going to tell you about one quick story after this. So why the shift to less square footage? Simple. Builders want to build what they know will sell. Basically, they focus on where the demand is strongest. And once mortgage rates started climbing and consumers felt the challenges of affordability creeping in, it became clear there was and is a very real need for smaller homes. National Association of Home Builders, NAHB, explains, quote, After a brief increase during the post-COVID building boom, home size is trending lower and will likely continue to do so as housing affordability remains constrained, unquote. Recent article from Real Deal says this about how this helps buyers, quote, even a slightly smaller home can be thousands of dollars cheaper for both the builders and buyers. In response to affordability challenges, major home builders are shifting priorities away from the big ticket homes and toward the cheaper set, unquote. What this means for you, if you're having a hard time finding something in your budget, it may help to look at smaller homes. And if you consider new builds specifically, you may find a few other fringe benefits that can help on the affordability front, like price reductions or mortgage rate buy-downs. Again, NAHB, more than 1/3 of home builders cut home prices in 2023. NAHB expects builders to continue offering smaller homes, more affordable designs, as housing affordability remains a barrier to home ownership. Charlie Bolello, Chief Marketing Strategist at Creative Planning, quote, home builders are adapting to the lowest affordability on record by building smaller homes and offering more incentives and price cuts. Median square footage of a new single-family home in the U.S. has moved down to its lowest level since 2010. If you explore these options, you'll get brand new everything. Enjoy a house with fewer maintenance needs and some of the latest features available. Worth looking into, right? Builders building smaller homes can give you more affordable options at a time when you may really need it. And I did just see an article that just came out. I was talking to Mary about this one right before we came on air. $1.7 million Silicon Valley town of Cupertino gets you a home the size of a hotel room. 300 square feet, 384 square feet, which is basically the size of a garage, two-car garage.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Isn't that nuts? 1.7 million. I think it was sold at 300,000 over the asking price. And my only guess here is it's on a 7,800 square foot lot.
Oh, there you go. The value's more on the land.
The house is worth nothing. The land is worth everything. And
you can build a lot more of those.
Yeah, how many of those can you put on there for that kind
Right?
of money? Or you could take and put one full-size house on there. And according to Zillow, which they're never right, $5 million is what the houses around it are selling for.
Wow.
So you can go get a 300. I think my wife's cosmetics might take more than 384 square feet. Thankfully, she's not listening, so I can say those things. That is the Real-Time Real Estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Continue our conversation with Mary Gaston. We're chatting about the NAR settlement, the monthly market report. Interesting comment here. When you buy a home, you should definitely have someone who represents your interests during the whole process. That was part of the quote. 76% of the people agreed with that. 24%. Buying a home is something you can do mostly on your own, perhaps just with a lawyer to help with the paperwork. What is a lawyer? I mean, the lawyer is going to know the paperwork.
Yeah.
But do you think the lawyer is going to be able to put together a package for the appraiser?
I mean, and also, how much do lawyers charge? Isn't it not just going to end up costing you just the same amount as a real estate agent?
And you know, nothing against lawyers, but for the most part, I don't know too many of them that really focus on the buying and selling of houses.
Yeah.
Right. I know some real estate attorneys, and they're dealing with the contract. There's a lot more that you're doing as a real estate agent than a contract.
Yes.
I mean, it's just nuts on this. 91% of respondents agree it would be very stressful to navigate the home buying process. Yeah. How many times do you
Who's
get
that 9%?
Yeah, exactly. 87% of respondents believe a real estate agent or broker is an essential trusted advisor for a home buyer. So you've helped buyers and sellers with their properties.
Yes.
How often do they call you throughout the process?
Oh my gosh, it's almost daily.
Could you imagine calling an attorney every day?
Oh yeah. Your bill is going to rack up so fast.
Yeah. That would not be a good thing. I mean, you're almost like a counselor, right? A psychologist.
Yeah, can be.
Right? I mean, because it's a scary process. You're going to have a lot of people that are going to call you and say, Mary, I think I want to cancel because of, and then fill in the blank.
Yep.
And you've got to bring them back to reality as to what their goals were.
Yeah. I've honestly, the most cancellations I've seen over the past couple months is buyers change their mind. And I think they're just freaking out and they look at the payment, they look at the interest rate, and they change their mind.
And are you able to counsel them back to what their real goals are?
And that's the goal. I mean, I'm just seeing it as like an office overview. So not my personal clients.
Sure.
But that's always the goal is, okay, again, this is what your financial goals are. And this is the steps we're taking to get them. And this was part of that process. But that's the biggest reason for cancellations that I have seen in the recent weeks and months.
And you're able to help the people in your office and your clients because you've gone through all of this, right? So you when you bought and you've shared this on the program before, when you bought your first property, it was probably more than you wanted to spend, and you were able to get a specific loan type to help with the budget.
Yeah, I didn't qualify for it. I had to get a cosigner, and it was scary because I didn't qualify.
Right.
But I did it. I knew I had to because I had been watching the market for a while and knowing that prices were going to continue to rise. And at some point, I was really going to be priced out and not be able to afford it.
How'd that work out for you?
Great.
Right.
Yeah, 7 years later, still have the property.
7 years.
7 years.
7 years, still have the property.
Being rented out.
Rented out. And so somebody else is paying that mortgage.
Yes.
And depending upon what your desires are, 23 years from now, you'll have a property that's completely paid off.
Yep.
And have good cash flow coming in for your family.
Yep.
And that was the plan, right?
That was always the plan.
Always the plan. Inventory of homes actively for sale increased in 45 out of 50 of the largest metros compared with last year. Do you think people are finally starting to realize that interest rates, we don't want them really to go back to where they were?
No. It'll only start pushing prices up even more.
Well, it'll push prices up even more. And I had this conversation early this morning with somebody. And yes, I have no life. So at 5:30, I was trading emails. That the last 2 times we've had interest rates get down into the 3s has been catastrophic economic events in the country. Do we want that again?
No.
Right? You lived, well, you weren't an active investor in 2008, 9.
No.
Right? But you saw what went on.
Yes.
And you studied it. You were an active investor in 2020. Wasn't a bad thing, right? I mean, it wasn't a good thing from the sense that we don't like that, but people that went through that were able to take advantage of that market.
Yep.
Right? I mean, that's so right now we're starting to see where people, and I'll ask you this because my generation, we remember the 18% time. And in the boom in the early 2000s, everything I was pretty much around 7.5%. Are you guys starting to realize that this isn't such the end of the world?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before that I think my normal interest rate is probably in the 5s. That's more normal to me. So this does seem a little high. But
not catastrophic.
It's not catastrophic, no.
And so that's good. It's nice to see that the next generation is starting to realize that something. It's not going to be the end of the world. We've been in this a year and a half almost now. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks that prices are so high, but that's not going to change, especially in California.
Well, and heck, now you can make $20 going to work for a McDonald's. So it's until they
on that one.
until they get rid of all the people working there, right? Homes actively for sale increased again 45. So we're seeing, if you're looking at this chart that we've got here, and Josh, it's number 10, that we've got the numbers are just going up. They're higher now than they've been in a long time as far as the number of homes actively available for sale. Are you seeing that as well?
A little bit. I mean, it's slowly going up, but I mean, it's not the jump we need.
What do you mean by we need?
Because we still have pretty good demand.
Okay. So people are still getting older, still getting married, still having babies, getting out of college. So we need more houses.
Yeah, we do.
Household formation is growing, and it's not going to change. Active monthly listings. Again, we've got this chart, number 12. They went down a little bit in January, February, but that's to be expected, isn't it?
Yeah, that's normal.
And now we're looking at March. The numbers went up again. Are you seeing more listings coming on for April?
We are.
Okay. So if people want to buy a house, they can actually do so if they want to now?
Yeah.
That's something new because I haven't looked at the numbers in Orange County lately, but I mean, they were like 1,800 houses for sale at one point.
Oh yeah, it was low. So
again, nice to see finally new listed 2023 versus 2024. Again, we're still the numbers are down through the end of 24, but now you look, and if you're watching us again on any of our socials, Every month this year, we've got more homes for sale, more listings than same month last year. And I'm looking March, that's almost 15% more. If I look at the numbers pretty quick.
Yeah, that's good. Hopefully it just keeps going up.
Yeah,
So
we
can
need
get back to more of a normal market.
And that'll help everybody, right?
Yeah.
I mean, right now, you get a lot of people that get scared when they have to bid, figure, okay, I've lost a bid, I lost a bid.
Mhm.
Now what? Now maybe they might be overbuying.
Yep.
Okay, consumers' attitudes toward home selling conditions increased markedly in February, with current homeowners in particular expressing greater optimism that it's a good time to sell. Why is it a good time to sell?
I mean, because there's still a very low inventory, but
Yeah.
the demand's still out there.
Whenever you've got high demand, low supply,
Houses are still selling quickly.
still selling quickly, and they're going to continue to go up.
Yep.
Do you see anything that's going to cause house prices to drop?
I really don't.
I can't imagine, to me, the only thing it looks like that could be is if there's some sort of a geopolitical issue, right? You get all these things, all these different issues going on in different parts of the world. People could get scared.
Yeah.
Then you get to be really more of a psychologist.
Yeah. I mean, that or a huge, huge influx of listings, but with the gradual rises that have been happening, it's not enough.
Do you hear anywhere where, we hear in the news, other than the news, do you hear anywhere where everything's being bought by these big hedge funds and no one can buy anything?
Everyone keeps saying that, but then you look at like the charts and it's such a small percentage that's actually being bought by hedge funds. It's more the private investor that's buying them up.
Which is good. I mean, it helps for the private investor buying. It's a hedge against inflation. And again, everyone has their own philosophy on how they manage their real estate. My mother, my uncle, they never believed in raising rent because they were able to they never had anybody move.
Yep, exactly. Get a long-term tenant, just keep the rent as it is.
Do you follow that a similar philosophy?
Yeah, the only time I raise rent is when a new tenant moves in. Then I'll raise it to market rent.
Okay, so do you? And this is a fun one. I love asking this question to investors. Does it have any bearing on you whether they're calling you to nickel and dime every repair in the property?
Oh, I almost never get calls, but I have very good relations with all my tenants because of it. I mean, one of our renters, she's been there since 2020, have never raised it. She should be paying $200-300 more than a month than what she's paying right now. But I never hear from her. Ever.
Maybe that's why I say,
yeah.
I don't want to call Mary because she might realize that I'm here and she hasn't
I don't
raised
want to
the
raise
rent.
it because I don't want her to move out and say, okay, I'll go find somewhere else.
And that's a great philosophy. In my opinion, that's a great philosophy. It should be your opinion too. But it's a great philosophy because so you raise it $100 or $200, right? And if it's vacant for 1 month,
you're losing
that's what
that.
2 years worth of rent.
My
increase?
philosophy, I mean, as an agent, I would rather keep them in there, paying under market, let them save up a down payment to go buy a house, and I'll go represent them while they buy.
Nice.
I'll make up the lost rent that way.
I want to talk about that a little bit, and I know it's not on our normal schedule here, but that's fascinating that you say that because so many renters, I think, unless you've got a great relationship with them, do you think they're going to even call you because they don't want you to know that they're thinking about leaving?
Exactly. No, I want them to go save up and buy a house. I'll help them buy a house.
Do you tell them that?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. It's a big question mark because I know a lot of people say, well, I'm just going to, once I've got it, then I'll let my landlord know because.
And I keep most of my tenants on a month to month because I've always told them, look, if your situation changes, I don't want you to be stuck in something you don't want to be in. And I've only had one person push back on that because they were afraid I was going to raise it after a couple months. But they've been there for now over a year and they were okay going to a month to month.
So do you start them on a month to month? Really? Okay, so that's kind of unique.
It is. It's odd, but I've always told them, look, if something changes, I don't want you feeling stuck. If they're a bad tenant, I don't want to be stuck. And if you want to go buy a house, I'll help you. Well, you can get out of it easy. I'll help you.
Sounds like a win-win-win-win-win.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And I have long-term tenants in all my places.
That's the way to do it. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, Borrow Smart segment, we'll talk about that, the best way to, it's the best loan on the market if you're a savvy investor. You can reach me anytime off air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Homeowners over the age of 62 are taking back financial control after retirement with reverse mortgages, and the Siegel Lending Team is here to help you use it to your advantage. Call Ron Siegel with Geneva Financial to receive your free information booklet with no obligation. The booklet answers all your questions, and the best part is, you still own your home. Call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990 or visit RonSiegelRadio.com.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at RonIsMyLender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. RonIsMyLender.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. the Borrow Smart segment today being brought to you by rsrdebtfree.com, rsrdebtfree.com. Just going to give you a quick little story here. The Home Select product from Geneva, that's a proprietary product. There's only 2 companies that offer it. For savvy homeowners, savvy investors, it would be the number one, would be the last loan you'd ever have and the best loan you ever have. If you want more information on rsrhomeselect.com, rsrhomeselect.com. And the quick story is I had a financial advisor that was on the radio program with me. Says, Ron, there's no way you're going to save me any money. I took out a 30-year loan 5 years ago, interest only. I'm paying 3%. And I said, do you want to say that or do you want to know whether it's really true? And there's part of the monthly market report that I really like that comes up this month. I can have my opinion, you can have your opinion, but whoever's opinion is supported by fact, you got to really question it. So here's the issue. RSR Home Select, we put his income in there. We put his monthly expenses into the simulator. And we found out that not only would his loan that has going to be start amortizing in 2 years, so he's still got 30 years to pay on it, would be paid off in 7.25 years. And the 3% interest rate would drop to 2.006 effective APR. I like 2.006 effective APR and 23 years less in payments. What do you think? That is the Borrow Smart segment brought to you by rsrdebtfree.com. Continue our conversation. Mary Gaston, Realty Pro 100 is with us. Here's an interest. The next one we're going to look at, and we're going to only talk about this for a couple of minutes here, Mary, because mortgage rates. Mm-hmm. The report that you and I get each month, they record it early in the month. They send it out to us on or before the 10th of the month. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at this report, and it says, well, mortgage rates are going to drop. And yesterday they went the other way. Now, this is from the smartest people there are. Fannie Mae, Mortgage Bankers Association, National Association of Realtor. And they're all saying that interest rates are going to go to 6.2 by the end of this year. Mm-hmm. Do you believe it?
I mean, I would like to think so, but the way things have been going, no, because everyone keeps talking they're going to be rate cuts. There's going to be rate cuts. And they've been saying that for a year now. And there really haven't been any significant cuts.
So the bottom line here is you don't know. Well, you don't know. I don't know.
Exactly.
And Jay Powell doesn't know. Mm-hmm. So why speculate?
Yeah.
Right. You got to look at your situation, where you are today. Mm-hmm. And there's been hundreds, thousands of people who have stretched. I know when I bought my first house at 18% interest, we stretched.
Oh yeah, you always have to.
Always stretch. And then you can adjust as long as you can afford that payment. You can stretch and restructure.
Yep.
So now the issue that I really am most concerned with is at what point do you think that the mortgage numbers are going to get to where people are going to get excited about buying a house?
Honestly, at this point, if it gets under 6, I think people will be like,
Under
okay,
6.
yeah, it's going down. It feels okay now.
Okay.
Because again, that for my generation, I feel like in the 5s is more normal.
Okay. So if we can get under 6, and according to Mortgage News Daily, they're saying buyer demand where we are right now over 7 is weak, 6.5 to 7 is limited, 6 to 6.5 is good. And as Mary suggested, 5.5 to 6, spot on. Right? That's where they're saying it's strong.
I haven't even scrolled yet.
Okay, so we could have saved the money on this whole report. We could have just talked to Mary.
There you go.
Affordability. That's a tough one.
It is.
Now, is there anything we can do?
I mean, go get a job at McDonald's now.
Yeah,
$20 an hour.
So we know the 3 things that go into affordability is wages, mortgage rates, and home prices. Wages are going up. I'm not sure if that's good or bad, but wages are going up. And the reason I say not good or bad is because government doesn't believe that when you force wages up, that it's going to break the system.
Yeah,
that's a big issue. If you can get wages up based on capitalism, do you remember? I don't know if you remember this. Right before the pandemic, they were talking about the idea that in North Dakota, a person at McDonald's was making like $26 an hour.
Really?
And the reason was there was no jobs. Now, they didn't have to put in a minimum wage there.
Yeah.
Right? It was because they needed somebody to work.
Yes.
That's a good way.
Yes.
Now, right now, I'm going to you'll probably know more about this than me because you're more from a management standpoint. You understand the labor laws better than I do. But we've got a lot of immigrants right now that are looking for jobs. And, like here in Orange County, we've got a lot of hotels. A lot of those immigrants can just go and get a job and I would think at a low wage just to get a job, can't they?
Yeah.
Is there a lot of background checks that you have to do?
Not really. I mean, you don't have to. That's the thing. Like, you don't have to background check anybody as an employer.
Okay. So they can go get a job over there. And if you've got somebody right now that's making 15 an hour and somebody wants to just feed their family at 14, right? And then the next one goes at 13 because there's a lot of people that are not on the payrolls.
Yeah.
It's an underground society.
Well, I'm not going to touch that one because, labor laws.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's an underground society right now that people can do. And the gig economy, right? I don't know what's involved in all of that, but again, I don't know if you have to have any kind of background to go work as an Uber driver or put your services up on Facebook.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's home price forecasts. Home prices are still going to go up. The values of homes still going up. So the bottom line on all these things is affordability might get a little bit better. You think? Right? Wages up. If interest rates come down, that's 2 out of 3 that are benefiting.
It really is, I think, going to come down to interest rates having to move down for affordability to get better.
Okay, so the interest rates coming down and wages maybe ticking up a little bit.
Yeah, because I just don't think that the wages are going to tick up high enough to meet the huge appreciation we had in the last few years.
That makes a lot of sense. But then again, if interest rates comes down, then that's going to create more demand.
That's going to push prices up.
So it's like a big circle right there. So who knows which ways it's going to go. You must have a relevant market opinion based on facts. Do you ever? How often do you go out with people that do not have a market opinion?
Everyone has an opinion on the real estate market, good or bad.
How many of them have any facts to back up what they're saying?
Most people don't, because most people aren't in the real estate market every single day and actually truly know what's going on. Like I said, even someone who's in the market every day said, "Oh, well, you can't pay a buyer's agent more than 2% now." That's completely wrong.
And so so you circle back with that thought, and you say, "Okay," I agree with you. whose responsibility is it to teach that?
The agents.
No, but who, you're on a leadership team of a real estate company.
Yes.
Is it the agent's responsibility to go get trained, or are the brokerages supposed to train?
It really is the broker of record, and they're responsible to make sure that their agents are up to date and trained and staying
so they're
aware of actually what's going on.
But everybody that I see in the real estate environment, they're all independent contractors.
They are.
So you really can't force anybody to come and get any training, can you?
You can't, but as the broker, you should be sending out the relevant information. You should be reading the settlement yourself and giving your agents the facts.
Gotcha. Okay, so if you want to get the facts, give me a call at 800-306-1990. I'll put you in touch with Mary Gaston. She and her team can get you the facts that you need to know as a consumer or as an agent. Either way, you can get that information direct from people that are studying it on a regular basis. And as always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.